Hey everybody, welcome to Guna Wealth Builders. I'm Corey Peterson, and I'm excited that you're here because this is like the first part of a journey. You just bought my book, and I'm going to give you some wonderful gifts. And this is actually a kind of a bonus gift that I just want to give to you for free. And I would hope that you would like it and go on, leave some notes about it. I think we're going to host it on YouTube. And so put some comments down there below and tell me how you think and what you like about it. And so let's get started into the whole process. What I want to teach you in apartment operations and like trying to get deal flow and like the whole complete plan, what does it look like? Well, there's three basic steps that you're going to achieve, but what we're going to teach you is some fundamentals. The first thing is you've got to be able to raise private money. I strategize in finding other people's money, putting it in a pool of investor funds, and then going and finding great apartment deals that we can operate and then sell and basically sell out in a 5-year period of time, sometimes a little bit longer. And that buy and hold strategy is really effective when it comes to multifamily investing and really creating lots of profits, right? Because we really focus on cash flow. Cash flow is the most important part of what we do, and it is what keeps our investors' money safe. So when you're raising private capital, and I'm going to show you here in a bit, if you learn how to do just one thing of the three, you can find the other two, right? So if you don't know my story, I'm a rags to riches story. I grew up in Crider, Missouri, or West Plains, Missouri, if you want to go to the bigger town, which is probably about a town of maybe 12,000 people or more, maybe a little bit more. But I grew up a country boy. And I would say that we didn't have we weren't lavishly living, right? We had everything we needed. But I grew up with this yearning and wanting to be successful. Unfortunately, I couldn't do it through school. I barely made it through high school. The only thing I was really good at was copying. And I know that sounds crazy, but I really accredit that to my success now, is that because I wasn't a great student, it wasn't until I learned, figured out what I really wanted to do was real estate, that I became a master copier, right? I found successful people and I learned from them and I did what they did and I didn't do what they didn't do. And it's led to so much success. And really, my whole evolution now is I'm giving back all the things that I've learned and all the things that I've created and took from other people's. And like that whole sum is what I'm trying to give out and hopefully giving you lots of just valuable content. And all I want to do is just give you the things that I've got, because I'm telling you, the cash flow life, that legacy wealth, I can look at the smile on my face every time I think about what apartment life has done for me. Man, it's a game changer. And you're only like one deal away. Hey, I'm doing this from outside in my backyard, so there's my dogs. You're only like one deal away from legacy wealth, to have generational income, and it's done through that multifamily sector. So, I struggled when I first got into real estate. I did like lots of people did, is I turned on the television and I saw fix and flip. I saw that I was supposed to go out and find money and then do these rehab projects and then, get all this money. Well, that seemed well on TV, but in real life, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And there was a time in my life where I got really successful in raising lots of private money to do those fix and flip deals. And I felt like an absolute mess. All I was doing was cutting checks. And if I was honest with myself, I wasn't even sure if I was making any money. Like, what? Yeah. I had no idea where I was at in all my deals. I mean, every time we got a deal completed, I was already buying another deal or multiple deals at a time. And I became a parts runner, managing all the rehabs, managing all the people. And I was a complete mess. I hated my life. You see, I got in this business because I read Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, And Robert always talked about cash flow. Yet here I was in the midst of what everybody would say I was super successful, but I felt like a trader with a D, trader, because that's what I was doing in real estate. I was trading properties. But honestly, it felt like a T. I was a trader to the gift, the calling of real estate. I thought I was a real estate investor, but I really was just a trader. I bought and sold commodities, right? It wasn't until I really discovered apartments and cash flow that I truly became a real investor. And that's what I want to give you is how to become a real investor, the kind that gets passive income for work done once, and then you get it time and time again. That you get, you can have big lumps of money at the end. You can get depreciation, right? Most investors that I know that are fix and flip don't ever get depreciation because, again, they're a trader. Don't be a trader with a D, not a T, right? So let's go into kind of what I say. These are the three pillars. These are the three things that you're going to have to know to be successful in apartments. And I break it down because it's pretty simple. The first is raising private money. To be a great operator, the first things you're going to have to do is learn how to raise private money. And I'm going to give you a video on this here in a little bit. Our next video, I think, is going to be about private money. But it really is the pillar of what I teach and do, because to buy big assets, it requires capital. And the trick is, though, it doesn't have to be your capital. In fact, my first apartment deal, I raised $1.4 million in private money, and it wasn't, any of it was mine. Well, how did I do that? And I'm going to teach you, because it's really a lot easier than you think. So don't get like, oh my gosh, I can't do this, Corey. Listen, I started from nothing. I talk out of one side of my mouth, and I'm not that pretty. So like, if I can do this business, you guys can kill it. So don't fret. But it is a journey. Okay, you don't get there overnight. This is not a get rich quick scheme, but it is get wealthy for life. And if all I could teach you was just how to raise private money, if that was the only thing you learned, and you took that into single families, hey, that's a success. I would tell you that's probably a good success. If you will take what I learned, though, and really learn how to cultivate the multifamily life and what it can do for you, that'll be explosive. Like your wealth. Hey, I've been doing fix and flip and wholesale for like the last 10 years. I've made a good living, but I became wealthy, and wealthy beyond measure, when I did my first apartment deal. That's the difference, right? Legacy wealth, cash flow, time and time again for my kids' generations. That's important. So raising private money is a core essential part of what you're going to do and what you're going to learn in, following the whole scheme of things. And it's really not that hard. So it's really about relationship. Raising private money is done one-on-one. It's not in group settings, and it starts with your friends and family. That sounds crazy because you might be saying, well, Corey, I don't have any rich friends or family. Well, neither did I. So don't worry. I'm going to show you how to get past that. But I am going to show you how you're going to practice on your friends and family. And, a lot of this is practice, drill, and rehearse. There is no secret magic formula. So raising private money is very systematic. I will give you the tools on how to do it. But it's really not as complicated as people think it is. And the biggest problem that I see with people in private money is in between the two ears. It's because they don't allow themselves to think they can. And I used to struggle with the same problem. And it was growing up poor, not without a lot of money, you feel like you look at money differently. And I did, until I broke free from that. And once I broke free, my whole mind shifted. And so what I'm trying to give you is a mind shift. And I'll be giving you that video series coming down the road. And just pay attention to it, because I think it'll really unlock a lot of your fears and doubts and like, can I do it? it will help unlock that because it really is a simple process. All right? All right, so the next thing is finding deals. Okay, so you got to be able to raise money and be able to find deals. Well, finding deals is super simple. It is very much a structured piece of, hey, I got to go talk to with this person or I got to talk with that person, and it's not very complicated. Okay, with finding deals, the trick to finding deals is really about establishing relationships with brokers. You can also do direct mail. I'm going to teach you some ways to do direct mail and some marketing techniques. But by and far, I find the simplest and easiest way is to find relationships. And relationships is the same thing with private money and finding deals. I don't know why, but I always feel like this apartment business is more on relationship building than anything else. And when I say relationships, let me define that for just a minute. Because it is more than just like, hey, I'm talking to the broker and all we talk about is real estate. A relationship is when you talk about things other than real estate. You know, the dogs, the kids, the families, you know, the friends, the neighbors, what they love, sports. When you can figure out what people really like to do and talk about that, it's much more powerful. I mean, like crazy more powerful in the communication and what you're going to get. And then you create friendship because you have a commonality. So that's really what raising private money does. And finding deals is just about finding brokers who are listing deals. And you know, it's not like in the residential where you got to find a smoking dealer or a super motivated seller. You can still find those types of deals in apartments, but in apartments, it's all about the numbers. And for investors to sell a property, they have to give the other investors opportunities to make money. And a lot of times, if you have the third thing, this is why it's all tied together, is just if you have good operations on how to manage and run at the property level your apartments, you're going to be able to extract finding deals better because you're going to be looking at deals where they're going to have high expenses. And you know by using your operations that you can lower expenses. And when you lower expenses, you create more income. And so there's opportunities in having great operations. Now, the thing with operations, don't fret yourself on this. Most people, I to this day, third party, and in other words, I hire a company to do all the operations for me. Why do I do this? Because I believe in making my life simple. Again, I'm creating the Kahuna cash flow life. I'm doing this from my house. I don't have an office. I don't have thousands of people that work for me. Like, that's not what I wanted when I created my company. I wanted to take great vacations, do whatever I wanted, when I wanted, with who I wanted, and like have a great life. And so really, that's all that I've done is just those simple things, okay? But in operations, you can find great management companies. It's all about systems. Because what you're buying from a management company is just that. It's systems. Systems on how they train their managers, how they get leases, how they take applications, how they convert leads to appointments to, tenants. It's all those little things that they do. And so how do you find great management companies? You build great relationships and you ask lots of hard questions. Very simple, right? And you can find a great management company to run your multifamily properties. And not only that, they'll run it. They'll give you if you find a great operator, they're also going to provide you like detailed financials because there's usually a full accounting department in apartments, like in the management side. So again, now here's the real truth. This is the big domino. If you can figure this out and grasp this concept, it will solve everything else for you. These two circles here, finding deals and operations, okay? You can wipe those off. Don't even think about it. If you will get good at only one thing, I mean, and be good at this right here, raising money, you will attract everything else that you need. Okay? Let me restate that, because this is like the big, if I could teach you anything, I would not teach you how to find deals. I would not teach you operations. Now I'm going to, but what I really want to teach you, like what I think is the quintessential, what will get you out of bed and make your lifestyle change. If you were going to say, Corey, what circle am I going to focus on? Focus on how to raise money. Get good at raising, talking with people about money. That's it. The money, it's not, hey, the money's not in real estate. Heads up. I used to think it's in real estate. It's not. The money, the real cash flowing, juicy money. The money's in the money. The money is being able to procure private money from individuals that collectively will place their money where you ask them to place it, when you ask them to place it, on any deal that you ask them to fund that makes financial sense. That's Wall Street, baby. But we're not doing Wall Street. We're just doing individual apartment deals, which Wall Street doesn't do. They don't do this. So you can kill it. You can build a cash flow life, a cash flow legacy by just doing one stupid thing, which is learning how to raise private money. It's just as simple as that. I get passionate about it because it's the one thing that I know I've mastered, right? I'm really not good at finding deals. I know how to do it. I've done it. But do I like to do it? I don't, right? I suck at operations. I've tried it before. That requires me to go to the office every day and like manage people and systems. And again, I'm not good at it. I don't want to build that life. Whoa. Hey, we're doing it real here, right? One of my lighting things almost fell down. But that's not the lifestyle that I wanted. I wanted lifestyle. And how you get there is by raising private money. So let's go over 10 things that you're going to know or that you're going to need in this journey of apartment life and cash flow. So let's go over them right now. All right. So now let's talk about the tools that I think you're going to need and develop and hone in, and kind of the things you're going to really want to make sure that we are listening and paying attention to. And so the first thing that I think you have to have is perspective. As you become more and more involved in the multifamily game and arena and asking questions and dealing with brokers, you're going to start developing your own perspective of how it works, how the system is. You're going to get a lot better understanding. And when you do get that understanding, it's going to help you become more knowledgeable and really be able to talk the lingo, because in multifamily, it is a absolute different lingo or language, and you want to be able to make sure that you're mastering the language, right? So it's very important to have perspective on the whole process, and I'll be walking you through each and every step along the way. So it's not going to be new to you, but it will be different, and it's just the way it's just different. Okay, so perspective. The second thing that you're going to want to make sure that we really get good at is communication. Communication is like everything in business and in life. With emails, with people. The better that we can communicate with people, really, the better our stories become. The better you're going to have relationships with others, right? It's really about communication and solving communication problems, right? It's really being able not to be afraid to pick up the phone and say, hey, what's going on? How can I do this? How can I do that? And asking lots of questions, all right? So, which leads me to the third step is your journey. You're going to start developing your story, your journey, and you're going to be able to tell your story. You're going to be able to tell your journey on how you're doing this thing called real estate, how you're started from where you started to where you're at now and where you're wanting to go. All those things are very important, and you want to be able to really start keying on and developing your story, because your story is powerful. It really is. And when you can tell it in a powerful way, that really makes people listen and they're engaged. So many times I see people talk and people's minds are somewhere else. When you can really engage somebody by communicating good story in your journey, people listen. And your journey is really followed by the same thing of storytelling, okay? Storytelling is a technique. And it's a technique that when you learn it and develop it right, I mean, it can be powerful. Oh my gosh, it's like that wind's showing up. The only thing about doing a thing outside like this is you never know what's going to happen. But your story, or telling stories, the ability to communicate in story, is so much more effective than giving facts and figures. If I gave you facts and figures all the time, you would be mind numb. You'd be like a zombie. Ooh, right? You would check out. But if you can communicate with people with a story, you get lots more like paying attention. So your journey honestly needs to be told in a story. Storytelling is a fun, simple concept. There's lots of books out there to learn how to tell a story, and we'll talk about it more as we develop this whole process, because you'll find out that I tell lots of stories, and stories are what's fun, and it's what's creative, and it's life, and it's describing all the things you went through and how it made you feel. Think about book writing. When you're reading a book, the author can spend like maybe 10 or 15 pages just describing the stupid room that you're in, so you can get the setting, so you can feel. And really that's what storytelling is setting up all the pieces and all the characters, so then you can drive your story to its point, right? So storytelling is fun. The next thing is beliefs. As you continue the journey, your beliefs, or what you believe to be true, I'm hoping to shatter some of those beliefs so I can get you to have what I call new beliefs. You need to start expanding your mind, and your beliefs are so powerful. Let me tell you, what's in between your two ears, your brain, the way you think, is the most powerful, most magnetic thing that you can drive. It's the supercomputer, right? It's what can make you successful. And your beliefs, before you can do something, you have to believe that you can. It's that simple. If you don't believe you can do any of this, then you've already failed. So my goal is to take that belief, even if it's fragile, and to water it, put it in good soil and start watering it, so you can start growing roots, so you can stand firm in your beliefs, in your convictions, and know that certain things are true, that you can raise private money, that you can find deals, and that you can have legacy wealth. Those are beliefs. And it starts with just a small one. What can I do today, right? I believe I can. That's how powerful your mind is. Do not rule it out. We got to get strong on beliefs. The sixth thing is be curious. Man, I'm just a curious cat. I question everything. I always want to know how it works. I like to figure things out. I'm a problem solver. When things get broke in my house, who gets asked to figure it out? Me. And if I don't know, now this is the information of the life that we live right now is in the information age. And there is a thing out there called Google, And it is so powerful because whenever I don't know how to do something or something's not working, I just simply go ask Google and it tells me the answer. So be curious. Be curious on when you're talking with brokers. Tell me about the area. Ask lots of questions. Is this the normal floor plans in the area? Is this the best cap rate, or what are the cap rates trading at in this area? Where's the path of progress? If you're at all these things, have a curious mind. Be curious about people. Ask them about themselves. That's how you build relationships, by asking lots of thought-provoking questions. Tell me more. How did you do that? Wow, that's interesting. How did you do that? Right? Tell me more. And that makes conversation, which goes to my communication. All these things are kind of layered, right? There's little layered pieces, but it's what it takes. The seventh is relationships, and you're going to hear me talk a lot about relationships because I believe in business. People want to do business with people they know, like, and trust. And if I can get people to know, like, and trust me more and have relationship, there's a lot more chances that I'm going to get the deal. And I want the deal. And by doing that with brokers and building relationships and with your capital, with your private money, it's all about relationships. And those two things, finding deals, finding private money, and then even communicating with your operations, right? And communication, that's the glue. That's how it works. Real simple. The eighth thing is systems. Now, I'm going to teach you all my systems on how to raise private money, how to find deals, and I'm going to teach you on operations. But the truth is, the biggest gift that I'll give you is in my systems in raising private money. By learning that one thing, again, like I said earlier, you can sub out and find management companies that have operation systems, right? It's really that simple. So you can borrow other systems from other people. But this business in apartments is really about systems and structure. Having a follow-up system to talk to your money, right? How often do you call them? When do you call them? What communications do you send them? How do you communicate, right? Those types of things you're going to have to start developing and working on communications. And that's really all about systems, right? Systems. And then progress. So I've learned that I always give myself permission to celebrate progress, right? As you start to progress in your affluency in the knowledge of apartments and buying apartments, it's going to get fun. And sometimes we forget to pat ourselves on the back, right? I'm not saying you got to go gloat, right? But give yourself opportunities when you do hit some goals and some measures and you've made some progress. Take some time or take a quick minute to think about that and say, man, I did something, right? I achieved something. That's important. Not a lot of people do, and I think it's important in the holistic approach of time and money and being the kind of lifestyle that we're talking about. It's important to celebrate life and winning and progress. So often I see people just grind, and they're miserable, and they make all this money and they're freaking miserable. What a shame. What an absolute shame. Because I think that's stupid. I'm a perfect example of someone that's happy as hell. I'm living the cash flow life, and I don't have a lot of worries. And I can only tell you that's it's powerful. It's powerful to say when you know with absolute certainty that I know where my next check's coming from, and I know where the next check's coming from after that. There is not lots of monetary worries. That is a whole different feeling. Not many people get to celebrate that. And that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm trying to teach you guys, is that, to get there. Because it is unbelievably awesome. It really is. To live that lifestyle And and the other part of that is I didn't go out and just like accelerate my expense living. Like I don't live in this big ass house, right? I live in the same house I lived in for the last 10 years. And I could go afford a really nice, sweet house, but then we wouldn't have our neighbors that we've come to love and enjoy. And so, like, I'm not interested in trying to move up my status. Okay, so the last thing that I want to teach you guys, or the thing is partners. In this business, you can find multiple partners for whatever you need. If you don't have credit, you find a partner that does. If you don't have lots of capital, maybe you try to find a partner that does and you bring a deal. There's lots of ways to structure deals where you can get into apartments. And so, for me, I've always been a scrapper. I've always been a hustler. And whenever I came to a roadblock where I didn't have something, right, and which was pretty often in the beginning, I would have to go figure out and find out someone that did, and then structure it in a way that everybody got to win. That usually meant that I had to take less, right? But I was totally willing to take less because what I really wanted to be was in the game. And a lot of people never grasp that concept. They feel like, oh gosh, if I give up something, I'm giving it up. No, you're not. You're not giving it up. You're learning. You're learning. Learn how to structure deals and how to find partners for whatever you need. So, as an example, I'm not sure I'm going to launch this out, or what we're thinking about trying to figure out how to do it, is how that people like you can partner with me. So I'm trying to structure that and find out a way or a system that I feel like I would know, like, and trust, and where I can have people like you partner with me, and I can fund your deals. So that would be kind of neat, wouldn't it? Partner with me. That's the kind of things when I say, find partners, that's what I'm talking about, is solve your problems by bringing together all the pieces that make a deal work. And it's a lot easier than you think. And there's people out there in all shapes and forms and sizes and that have different things they bring to the table. And so a lot of this is putting and assembling the right partners. Because I used to think, man, I got to do everything by myself. And what I realized, it's just simply not true. And the more that I give away, like, I don't do operations, I don't find my deals. The only thing that I really concentrate on is finding capital. That's my best play. That's what I'm best at. And I sub out all the other pieces so I don't have to have all these systems, right? I can just have one system on how to raise private money. And that's enough, right? That's enough for me. And it keeps me in the game. It keeps me doing lots of real estate and making lots of money. And so that's my goal, is to teach you all that and it's a structure. Now, you can do all the things if you want. But is that the life that you want to live? Because what I'm really preaching is the cash flow life. It's the life that you will love and come to love, right? And if you don't have it now, I'm going to tell you, it feels great. It feels awesome. The water's warm. You should jump in. So here's what we're going to do next. I want to give you like real life proof. I want to show you like that I'm not just talk. I'm not just a pretty face and a great dancer, that I actually know some stuff. I'm going to jump on my computer because I want to show you my deal, my first deal that I ever bought. I want to kind of give you a little walk around and show you some photos of it, what it looked like. But more importantly, I want to show you the numbers of what they looked like when we bought it, and then also the numbers of what it was when we sold it. And then more importantly, because the reason we sold that deal was not to get the cash. It was to put the cash in a tax 1031 exchange so we could buy the next deal. And the reason we're buying the next deal is the amount of cash flow it's going to generate, which is a lot of income. And so I'm really excited to share with that. So I just don't want you to just take my word for it. I want to actually prove that I'm not just a pretty face and a great dancer. I know stuff. Let's go. All right, so now I want to give you a quick little video of Lionsgate Apartments Complex. So we're just going to watch the video here for just a second. And this is just a 70s built property. And there's nothing real special to it. It's in Malden, South Carolina. Then we're going to pan up here. You can see it's a pretty big complex. It's 144 units. We bought this property for $3.2 million. And, you know, we put new roofs on it. You can tell we put the new roofs on it. It looks really pretty from here. And this is me trying to like figure out my drone. So let's just pause it right here. But what's important about this deal is that, let me just bring this over here. I want to show you our first, this is 2012 in December, our second month of operation or third month of full operations. But what I really want to show you is our total rental income was only $54,000. That's the total amount of money that we collected, which is not really a whole lot. And it's actually pretty crappy. But we knew this property had potential, and all we did was just clean it up, fix all the things that were wrong. And so I want to bring over next, there we go, the last month. Why am I having such a hard time? Here we go. The last month before we sold this property, this is in 2017 of May's books, and you'll see that our total income is 102.5. That's like a huge difference in a monthly income stream, right? And so revenue, cash flow, when you affect something by $50,000 every month, I mean, that's $500,000 more a year in income that we're producing, just in top line revenue growth. And this the revenue growth that we were really keen on with this property. We did some improvements that made, you know, things really go well. But the main part is that it was all about the cash flow. Now, all right, so what's more important though is to look at this right here. This is the new deal that I'm going to purchase for, I think, $12.7 is the purchase price for this student housing deal. And what I want to show you is what we're looking to project as far as free cash flow each and every month between $500,000 to $600,000. That is what it's all about, right? And that's just amazingly, like, that's what it takes to make income. That, my friend, is why you do multifamily apartments.